Last week was our first playoff game, and my plaque psoriasis was so itchy under all my gear. Sometimes just thinking about scratching could take me out of the moment. And then my doctor told me I could get clearer skin with a pill called Otezla.
Otezla Apremilast is a prescription medicine used to treat adult patients with plaque psoriasis for whom phototherapy or systemic therapy is appropriate. Otezla can help you get clearer skin after just 4 months.
Okay, ready for the next game. Talking to my doctor about a pill was a total game changer.
Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swallowing, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Severe diarrhea, nausea or vomiting, depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss can happen. Tell your doctor if any of these occur and if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla. Call 1-844-4-OTEZLA or visit Otezla.com for prescribing info about cost, and more.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Another weekend, another opportunity to talk about dollars and cents issues with you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talking Real Money. I am one of your hosts, Don. That is your other host over there, Tom. And we're here to make this process of dealing with money more understandable and hopefully slightly more enjoyable. And to help you solve those nagging money issues that plague most of our existences from time to time, we have this handy-dandy 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week phone number, 855-935-TALK. Or, for Tom, 855-935-8255. I did that for you, Tom.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
I guess. I don't know. I suppose that's,
well,
faint praise, as we used to call it, or something, but okay.
Well, it's just Luddite help.
Because I don't know how to put in the on the phone.
Well,
I hate
you get
that.
confused.
Yeah,
you get confused. It's like I go, oh, there it is, right there. But I want to tell everyone a little something about the toll-free phone number before we get started. First, toll-free phone numbers are actually kind of silly, but what the heck, we have one anyway. Maybe somebody's dialing on a landline and doesn't want to pay for it. So you don't have to. 855-935-TALK. But here's the thing. Been trying to figure out for the past couple of weeks how to handle the calls that come in from those of you who listen to the podcast. You call after hours. So I figured out what to do.
Yeah, I talked to one guy at 2:00 this morning. Had a great conversation.
Yeah,
so it's terrific.
He's actually, see, I really, really believe that we should be honest on this program. Apparently, Tom doesn't.
All right. I was talking to somebody at 2 a.m. I'm not sure who it was, so we'll leave it at that.
I'm hoping it was your wife.
Okay.
I'm just hoping. At 2 in the morning, or your daughter, that's okay too.
Yeah.
The dog, okay, sure. If you want to talk to the dog, that works.
I do talk to the dog.
I'm glad. No,
Yeah.
You have a great dog.
Yeah.
He's getting old, but
I
he's
know.
a great dog. No, but here's what we're doing. We're turning your calls into mini Talking Real Money podcasts. The first of which went up last week. So if you called the Money Talk number, the 855-935-TALK number, and asked a question, go to your favorite podcast source, Apple Podcasts, or just go right to TalkingRealMoney.com, and we have a new short podcast with your questions there.
That was like 3 minutes, totally confusing, but okay. Something about calling in to get help with your money, and you can do that anytime at 855-935-8255. I think
but
that's
what I was telling people
right?
how they could hear the answer. Though.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So if you don't call during the show, we take your calls right here during the show. Okay. But if you don't call during the show, then go listen to the podcast, either through Apple Podcasts or at TalkingRealMoney.com or at iHeartRadio or any of those. And you'll see the podcast that's called Quick. Talking Real Money Quick. That's the Quick.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, I didn't even know that.
You weren't paid. I told you about this last week.
Okay. Probably like the 855-935-TALK thing. It just right over my head.
Right over your head.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter anyway.
I'm feeling good anyway. I mean, tomorrow's the egg roll, and most of the participants are either far younger than me or older. I think I'm looking pretty good for getting the stuff I want.
Oh yeah, I was planning a trip to a Chinese restaurant too.
No. egg roll. No, this is the egg roll down the lawn. You know who wins all that stuff? It's a tradition. And
Are you going to
my
the White House?
grandkids are still like 1 or 5 years old. I'm looking pretty good there. And
Are
then
you
everybody
going
else,
to the White House?
and they already did that. And then everybody else is older. So I think other than my son, he
you
might
guys
be
actually-
competitive. But
On
otherwise,
that hill behind your house, do you actually roll eggs
I think
down
there's
it?
still someone missing from last year's egg roll that rolled right off into the abyss. So I don't know.
It's more like egg yolk
Exactly.
roll.
Exactly. So that's to look forward to tomorrow.
All right, then.
Happy
That'll be
Easter to
fun.
everybody. Yeah.
In the interim, we're here to help you with really important stuff, like dealing with your money and understanding investing.
More
and
eggs in
avoiding
your
things
basket, that kind of thing.
That more exactly,
Okay.
and better baskets for your eggs.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay.
More baskets to keep your eggs in, so you don't have all your eggs in.
No, please don't say it. I'm not
One
going to say it.
basket.
I'm not going to say it. No.
One
I
basket.
won't do it.
Here at Talking Real Money, we show you how to avoid having all your eggs in one basket. We have an Easter theme for this program.
Goodness.
And the editor's going to love that. Okay, editor or the guy who writes
Note
the little notes.
to editor.
All of your, avoiding having all of your eggs in one basket.
And there'll be a link to somewhere that talks about that. Because they've been putting all these great links.
Okay.
They had a link to Jack Black from a couple weeks ago. It was just an
gotta tell
offhand, mention. Wow.
Here's the deal. I don't like behind the scenes stuff,
No,
so
I know.
I'd like to tell you what's going on. I have hired someone for a long time to edit the show into the Talking Real Money podcast. Well, he's moved on to greener pastures, and I went looking for a new editor, and I found this company in Canada called We Edit Podcast. They're in Calgary.
Great title.
Great title, and they do a terrific job, and they write show notes. They have somebody on their staff who writes show notes, and so the notes you see are very lightly edited show notes. I kind of let them go because they're cute. So check that out when you check out the podcast. We'll be back.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
In addition to the Talking Real Money podcast, I also do another podcast that's very popular over at Apple Podcasts. It's called Money 30. Every day I try to educate and inform you about money in a brief 2 to 4 minute podcast. So check them out at Apple Podcasts or all the other podcast services or at money30.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Because every single day of your life, money affects it somehow, whether it's trying to build a better retirement or buy some eggs to roll down a hill. We will cover it all here.
Those
at
are hard-boiled eggs. Come on.
Yeah, but you still have to buy them.
Okay.
855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. Speaking of eggs, I read an interesting piece that said that most grocery stores heavily subsidize the price of eggs.
You don't get the exact price then is what you're saying?
No, you don't pay what it costs them to buy them. They
Bad
reduce
pun.
it.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was being serious for a minute. I
Okay.
don't know what happened to me. But they actually do that. They subsidize it to get you into the store. They know you're going to be coming in to buy milk
I couldn't
and eggs.
even tell you. I have no idea, literally no idea what a dozen eggs cost. I couldn't tell you within $3.
You're out of touch.
No, I am.
They're right around at the store brands, right around $3.
Is that right? Exactly
Yeah.
$3?
Right around there,
Okay.
$2.99,
Okay.
$3.29. Depends on your grocery store. Walmart, they're cheap.
We went to I won't name the store, but we went to the very expensive one last Sunday just for the sport of it, and I think blew 3 weeks worth of grocery bill.
You go to Whole Foods? You went to Whole
Close.
Foods?
Central Market.
Oh,
Central Market.
I don't know Central
Yeah,
Market.
well,
I've never
it's-
been to that.
Fancy schmancy, and I didn't buy any eggs that day. I said, "We'll get the fancy stuff here."
They'd be
another
more
day.
expensive there anyway.
Yeah. So they Wow, that's really
They
weird.
subsidize eggs.
Huh?
I think I read that in the Wall Street Journal. I don't know. One of the papers I read. I don't know which one. So many papers, so little time. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. 855-935-8255.
And the thing everybody's been asking us about is, hey, what happened in this first quarter? Because we had so many quarters and months and years of stocks kind of going up, and low volatility. And in the first quarter, we had stocks lost money and just had insult to injury, bonds lost money. Everything went down. Well, we'll talk about some things that went down far faster than others.
But if you went down because interest rates went up.
Yeah, if you owned a diversified portfolio, a global portfolio, you lost 1.3% in the first quarter. And if that's troubling, then you shouldn't be owning stocks.
That's all?
That's it. So, and if you owned a portfolio that we kind of see generally 60% in stocks, 40% in bonds, you were down a whopping 0.8% for the quarter. I mean, it's not a big deal. And by the way, there were things that did go up, which I know you don't know, but one of them was emerging market small companies.
Yeah, you told me that a couple of days ago.
2.2%. The riskiest stocks in crummy countries. I mean, okay, risky countries. I don't want to say crummy countries.
I was going out on that presidential limb. Did you tweet that this morning?
I tell you what, I shouldn't have. I mean, here's the interesting thing about the quarter too. It was
cruddy markets.
It was the stocks, especially technology stocks, went straight up in January. Then they went, remember, right back down in February. Then they went straight back up in March.
Whoa,
and then right
Mr.
back down.
Sound effects.
How about that? So that's, by the way, if you look at long-term markets, this is really what stocks look like. They don't just go up a little bit every day. Your sound effects are much better than mine. So we had some record highs, and we ended up the NASDAQ, by the way, tech heavy, lost 2.3% of its value year to date, and the S&P 500. I'm not even going to mention the Dow Jones Industrial Average because Don hates that so much. The S&P 500 of the largest, most solid companies. Well, 500 of the largest companies in the United States lost 1.2%. It wasn't horrible.
No, it wasn't horrible. Now, we did see a lot of battering in tech stocks, but the reasons were really interesting. I mean, it was everything from Facebook getting slammed over the Cambridge Analytica fiasco.
Yeah.
To Amazon stock plummeting based on a tweet from the president.
And do you know how much market capitalization value Amazon lost in just the month of March?
It was a lot.
$31 billion, but that's not as bad as Facebook that lost $54 billion worth of shareholder value in 30 days. Wow.
It's the loss at Amazon, the punishment almost seems to more closely fits the crime.
Which is?
Poor Amazon. Well, it was this whole business about people exposing people's data to
Oh, now you said Amazon, thinking you mean Facebook.
I meant Facebook.
Yeah, okay.
Amazon, and all Amazon did was make President Trump mad about something that isn't even true.
They used the Postal Service, which he says costs a lot of money, and they don't collect enough in local taxes. And by the way, I never say anything bad about Amazon because I have to run the Amazon gauntlet every Saturday to get here. So there's no way because they'd be aiming at me as I'm going down Mercer. I'm not going to do that. So you go right ahead.
Well, I'm telling you, I think Jeff needs to do like Elon Musk is doing in L.A. And build you a tunnel under Mercer.
I get
you need to be able
safe
to
and
tunnel
sound
under Mercer.
I'm going to need a zip line from Bellevue
or something.
Yeah, I mean,
but no. Think about it.
I see what you're saying. The fact that they lost $50 billion.
Tweet something.
I know
that is pretty much wrong anyway. Now, let me just ask you a question. You're a business person. Right?
Yes.
But you sell product. Now you can either ship it with FedEx and UPS and pay on average $1.50 more per package, or you can ship it through the United States Postal Service based on what, by the way, they're charging and pay $1.50 less. Which are you going to do?
And I'm going to take the Postal Service. I mean, this is not a Valiant type question. This is pretty easy.
All right.
But you're costing the Postal Service billions of dollars a year, Don.
Then they should raise their rates.
Oh, there is that. Okay. Yeah, getting it. Yeah. So we'll see how that shakes out. But so it was, I mean, again.
I try not to get into presidential politics
I
on
know.
the show. I try so hard.
Because someone's going to call and get mad at us.
I do, but I don't, because someone will call and get mad at us, as you just said. All right, go ahead.
Anyways, no, I was
Tell
just
your story.
closing out the first quarter. So, again, you should have, as we've talked about on this program many times, you should have an asset allocation, a balance between stocks and bonds that fits your need for return within your ability to take the ups and downs. That's it.
And that's the problem that we face here. Is we go every day. We go, well, this is so easy. Why do people keep reacting to the down markets and start panicking when we see a 5% down week, as we saw a week before last? Or, the last week was it was up one day, it was down the other, it was up one day, it was down the next. It was all over the place. If you had the right portfolio, you really wouldn't need to think about this stuff.
Indeed.
At all. 855-935-TALK is our number, 855-935-8255. It's easy to get to us on this Easter weekend because people are out buying up all the eggs and ham in the world. Oh my gosh, I was at Costco yesterday. It was like, is there a shortage of ham? They're buying it like crazy.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
If you need help allocating your retirement plan at work, you can get free help at 401-411.com. That's 401-411.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
And once again, our phone number is 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. You can call that number 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Oh my gosh, hard to believe. And then listen to the answers on the short version of the Talking Real Money podcasts at various podcast locations, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, all that stuff.
And we saw a lot of this human nature play out, by the way, in the first quarter. We were talking about the returns because in January, towards the end of January, I had a lot of people calling me saying, I haven't been in stock since 2008 because they scared me. It just looked, but I got to get in now. And I said, so after a 300% rise, you got to get in? Yeah, because I've been sitting in CDs and bank, et cetera, et cetera. So few of those people were, I'm just telling you, then a month later.
I've been sitting in CDs waiting for the market to get to an all-time high.
Bingo.
And then I want to buy it there.
Yeah, because it feels better. It feels a lot better. Then it's fascinating. By the latter part of February, after the market had turned and gone down precipitously and the world looked like it was coming to an end with stocks, we had people calling us saying, I got to get out of stocks because this is making me really nervous. I mean, it was literally like 15 trading days later, it went from irrational exuberance to depression.
To irrational fear.
Yeah, exactly. It was that quick. It's fascinating.
And that's the way our minds work, and that's why what you said before is so important, that you need to have a plan and discipline. A plan and discipline. And you need to avoid cryptocurrencies.
Are we going to do that now?
A plan, discipline, and no cryptocurrencies.
Well, because I hate to break the news to you if you were big in cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin.
I wasn't, but
okay.
Go
if
ahead
you were,
and tell me anyway.
If you're listening, and you are, we'd love to talk to you because Bitcoin, which we've been warning about for a long time. Didn't really have a really great first quarter.
How did it do this
Well,
first
the price
quarter,
of Bitcoin January 1st was $13,412.
Oh, well, that's way below where it was in December at almost $20,000.
I know, but by March 30th, your $13,412.44 was $7,266. That's a decline of more than 45%. Now, that if you own something that declines 45% in one quarter, I think you should be nervous about that. But the really good news about this, the really great news, the savior, the white knight has
good news.
It's so great. The white knight has arrived. Everybody's going to be okay because you may remember this name going back a few years. The Escobar family. I mean, you remember these people because they used to deal in a limited availability product, but they sold it at a very high price.
I remember a television show
Yeah.
about the Escobars.
Oh, yeah, good
called
point.
Narcos.
Exactly.
That's not them, is it?
Well, no, not him, but, well, it is kind of
Well,
them.
'cause he's dead.
Yeah, he's gone, but his brother is kind enough to rescue you in the whole cryptocurrency confusion with his own cryptocurrency.
Oh, yeah, it's a stitch, too. It has, I have to say, I think it may very well be one of the world's chintziest, worst designed logos to begin with, and the name ain't much better. It's called Diet Bitcoin.
For those of you trying to drop a few pounds before the Easter ham, that's what you're doing?
Was regular Bitcoin that much heavier?
I can't carry it.
I can't carry this air. Yeah, it's I'm looking right at the website, dietbitcoin.org. It says right at the very top, Diet Bitcoin, cryptocurrency by Roberto Escobar,
Brother
of Pablo
Now,
Escobar.
I ask you, does that give you more faith in the whole thing to know that the brother of the greatest,
of the head of the Medellin cartel.
greatest criminal
and
enterprise in history. Come on.
Roberto was the accountant for the Medellin cartel
He
for
knows
many
literally
years.
where the Bitcoin is buried, I guess. Huh?
I maybe he dug up the drug money to start. Anyway, you have to stay tuned because we haven't even told you the best part yet about Diet Bitcoin. Because we're going to get you in at the ground floor of Diet Bitcoin. Basement, maybe?
Tom and Don are talking real money.
If you're sick of investing through an insurance agent or a stockbroker and you're in the market for a fee-only advisor who charges truly low fees and uses a scientific approach to building portfolios for your risk tolerance and need, you should check out Vestory. Tom and I started this firm, and it is devoted to educating everyone, total transparency, clarity, low fees, and great service. If you're looking for an advisor, you ought to at least take a look at us at Vestory.com. That's Vestory.com. Or give us a call, 800-386-3004.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Hola, welcome to Talking Real Money, the show that teaches you all you need to know about cryptocurrencies. Our phone number, 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. Because we're talking about cryptos, it's almost guaranteed that the audience for our podcast will be among the biggest ever.
Yeah, apparently John Oliver did a great piece a couple weeks ago, too. Someone sent me, but I didn't have time to watch.
It was wonderful.
Was it good?
Yes, it was.
So
very
what?
good.
Before you even get into the Escobarian entry into this controversial financial instrument, tell us.
Wait till you see what I have here.
I know, but tell everyone, what is a cryptocurrency?
Who knows?
Good explanation.
Who knows? Okay. No, okay. What? A cryptocurrency. Oh gosh, it's so hard to describe. A cryptocurrency.
I'm going to give you as many words as you need on this.
Well, and you need a lot of them because it is so confusing and complicated. It is a unit of measure. Basically, it's a way to supposedly measure wealth, supposedly, and I use supposedly, even though a lot of the crypto freaks get mad at me for doing that.
By the way, you can call us and get mad and tell us how we're wrong. We'd happy to hear from you.
I keep waiting for someone to do that, but I've argued this with a lot of techno geeks that I know, and they say that
you actually call them techno geeks?
I do, to their faces.
Okay.
Because they are. Okay. And so it's based on a concept called a blockchain, which is a string of code that identifies something, in this case, something of value, supposed value. It is made up out of whole cloth. It's totally invented. There are a couple of thousand of them in existence right now, Bitcoin and its ilk. Any idiot who wants to make one can make one. You create this code, and then you either sell the Bitcoin or the coins to someone, or they can mine them by doing these very complex computer operations that serve little or no purpose whatsoever. They just waste electricity and computer space. But they mine Bitcoin by doing this.
Is that the entire explanation?
Oh, there's more, but I'm not going to do it.
Okay, I mean, my explanation is a completely speculative ploy to make quick money.
You got it. That's
Okay.
a better one.
All right.
That's a better one. I thought
Scheme,
you really wanted
pardon
to get. It's
I
a
did,
scheme. It's a scheme, and this will really actually. I think a quote from Senor Escobar will actually help you better understand just how spurious these things are and why Bitcoin has gone from almost $20,000 in the middle of December 2017 to $7,200 right this minute. $7,200 right this minute, which is still too much in my opinion. This is a direct quote from the book Pablo Escobar's Diet Bitcoin. It's the name of a book. Quote.
Whoa, he wrote a book that called that?
Yeah. Quote, I am the first person in the world, Roberto de Jesus Escobar Gaviria, to publicly come out and claim that Bitcoin was created by the American government, and I am not going to be the last person to say this. The world is going to wake up. The world is going to see that this was created by them, and when they see it, it is too late. And when the CIA finds out that the world knows about this, the CIA is going to sell all of their coins, and they will destroy the value of Bitcoin. That's why I'm creating my own cryptocurrency called Diet Bitcoin. Unquote.
Less filling and cheaper, right?
Why? He doesn't explain why it's called Diet Bitcoin. I haven't read the book, though. So
How much is the book, by the way? Is it free with a certain amount of Bitcoin?
I think you can download it for free.
Okay.
But this document is like 30 pages of disclaimers, including, it says that all of the money is going to go to Escobar Incorporated for its operations.
Now that has a familiar ring to it, but okay.
No, well, this is going to have an even more familiar ring. It goes to Escobar Incorporated. There are risks and uncertainties associated with Escobar Inc. and their respective businesses and operations. Really, risk in drug dealing. Well, I don't think they do that anymore. But anyway, Diet Bitcoin, I wanted to tell you what the deal is. Here's how it's going to work. The first offering that expires, well, the pre-offering expires in 44 days.
Yeah, and how many hours?
44 days, 8 hours, 19
website.
minutes, and 38 seconds.
Yeah, you better get on it.
That just changed. The initial offering is going to be 1 million Diet Bitcoin. The first round is the pre-ICO round 1, selling 300,000 at $50. Wait! It's crossed out. $2 only for a limited time.
That's
Hurry.
the diet part. You can get more for less. I love
less.
that. Yeah.
50? No, it's 96% lighter than their original price. Oh, folks.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Keeping the podcast breaks as painless as possible is my goal. That's why I want to very quickly tell you about the only magazine I've ever heard of that is 100% real investing all the time. There's no business news, no speculative advice, and certainly no lifestyle stuff. It's called Real Investing Journal. I publish it every quarter, and you can get 2 full years for only $25 at realinvestingjournal.com. That's realinvestingjournal.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Don't go away, because tales from the crypto continue later in the program. We've got other crypto stories to share with you.
Well, yeah, and I just did a little
throughout
more
the
research on
program.
this because the Escobars into it. Apparently, there's a thing called Dillinger's Dollars that is coming
Dillinger's
up
Dollars.
and Bulger's Bucks. I don't know. We'll have to talk about all this stuff. It's pretty good. I'm just reading it. I mean, these are guys who are getting in the business. There's big money here. So.
And it's all dead guys.
I know.
Which is really interesting.
Don't know. I wonder where the money's going. So
855-935 talk is our number. That's 855-935.
Bulger's still alive, by the way. Whitey Bulger.
Whitey Bulger.
He's still
Yes,
alive.
855-935-TALK. Give us a call. We got a call waiting.
Oh, pardon me, Scott. Welcome to Talking
It's not working. I'm not seeing the caller.
Oh,
so.
okay. Well, doggone it, that's my bad. Scott, how
Hello.
are you? How you doing?
Good, good. I love your guys' show.
Thank you.
And listen, I'm kind of a medium to long-term investor in cryptocurrency and blockchain, so I just like to maybe help you guys out a little bit on what it really is.
Uh-huh.
Please.
So actually, I think one thing we need to be very careful about is if you research blockchain at all, you realize that major companies from around the world and countries and central banks are looking at this very, very seriously. And
That I agree with. Yes. It may
And
someday be a means by which to actually track real wealth like dollars.
That's correct. So we have to be very careful to understand that this is not all junk. Now, 90% of the coins out there and ICOs out there are absolute garbage. But there's 10% of them that are real structured pieces of finance. And those particular items are doing everything from creating the fourth generation of the Internet, which is true decentralization, to being able to allow us to use our digital currency to basically do everything. Now, the thing is that cryptocurrency itself lends itself to what's called decentralization, meaning that it's what's called an open ledger, and all you accountants understand that concept. Open ledger online allows you to see every single transaction where they've came from and where it's going forward.
Okay,
So
but
there's
can I
this true value.
interrupt just Scott? Can I interrupt real quick because we're going to run out of time? It's kind of a lengthy explanation, but my basic question is, okay, what's it good for? What can I use crypto? Me, regular old
Okay,
person
so-
who has a checking account and a savings account and an investment account. What, just really quickly, I know I've heard this whole song and dance about how it's all about decentralizing and it's gonna revolutionize. We haven't revolutionized yet. What is it good for me personally?
Right now, it's good for almost zero. So with that answer, you're
Okay.
correct. But if you're looking at a 5-year window, there's already cryptocurrency going in use today. Now, why would somebody want to buy a cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency, why there is actually value to it, is people who hold it and buy it are supporting the security of the network and the management of those.
Okay, but you
individual
see, that
networks.
still doesn't answer the question that 99.999999999% of people want to know. What the heck's it good for? That's the problem. We can't find a darn thing that it's good for, right? I can't find anything. And if I could go buy one of the few things I can buy with a Bitcoin, which is one of the only ones that anybody takes.
Subway, right?
Yeah. If I buy something with it, I create a taxable event. The thing is, it's more volatile than anything I can remember in the history of investing. And I've studied the history of investing. I think this is even more volatile than tulip bulbs were. This is just crazy. Cryptos are crazy. Now, yeah, will Bitcoin possibly be used for something else? That is a possibility, our blockchain. But so what does that have to do with cryptos right now and the insanity surrounding them? Scott, thanks.
Great call. Let's go to another. Leslie joins us here on Talking Real Money. Hi, Leslie.
Hi. Don, my dad listened to you back in the 90s and introduced me to your show. So, long time
I'm getting
listener.
old.
Is that
Thank
the
you.
1890s or 1990s? Which
No.
90s are we talking about here? Okay.
And he was definitely my advisor on my financial stuff.
Well,
and he
he's a
just
good
passed
dad.
away. So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, definitely. So, he had gifted me some Vanguard funds, the mid-cap index fund, and the prime, or the total stock market index fund with Vanguard. And then I also have a money market with them as well. And then I have a work 401k where I'm 60-40. So I got the 60 stock and the 40 bond. And in a meeting with the people that do our 401k, they brought it to my attention that I might be overloaded in the stocks.
Wait a minute. Wait,
and
Leslie,
I might
how
want
old
to
are
diversify.
you?
How old are you?
I am 51.
Okay. Why did they think you were overloaded in stocks? And more importantly, what did they want you to do with the money?
They wanted me to, I think, become a client of theirs because my Vanguard stuff's about $350 and my 401k is about $200.
And Leslie, what kind of a product did they suggest you go into?
They did not actually suggest something specific. I just got the idea that they wanted, to try to...
Let's go back to the 60-40 for a moment, because at 51, if you're going to work another 10, 15 years, you're not going to use the money in that period of time.
Right.
To be more than 40% in bonds that are paying maybe 2, I really have a tough time telling young people, and I consider you at 51 to be a relatively young person, to be more than 40%. But...
Compared to Don, anyway.
The 1890s, a great show. Was that on the Telegram? Anyway, so...
No, it was on 770.
Okay, he's typing it out. So the point, you should take... I mean, for example, we don't know you. We don't know your emotional makeup. You should go take the risk quiz. That's free. You go to Vestory.com. It's right there. Because that would help you understand your emotional makeup about all this. That would be one part. The other part is,
She listened to me since the 90s. Her emotional makeup is going to be fine.
Troubled, at least.
I don't really... I ignore it all. I don't look at it every day. I don't look at it every week. I know it goes up. I know it goes down. My dad always taught me I'm in there for the long haul. So I just let it do what it does. May I ask a question that
would be so much fun for me, Leslie?
Yes.
What was the name of the company?
What company? It's a place in Bellevue. It's Trituna Financial, and then our
Trutina.
Trutina, and then Pentegra does our 401k.
Yeah, I don't know them.
Like in White Plains, New York. So.
Yeah, they're going to be. They're trying to sell you some sort of a product, and I'm gonna guess. But what they're probably going to do is try to convince you to go into some sort of either managed portfolio of some sort, or they're going to suggest that you go into some kind of an annuity product. And I got to tell you, I would be very, very, very skeptical of anyone who just blindly says at 51, you're too much in anything. As Tom said, go take the risk survey, but it sounds like your father set you up really well.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
We mention 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255 throughout the podcast. But you need to know that you can call that number 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Leave your question, and those will be answered in special Talking Real Money podcasts that will appear on this particular site in the future. So give us a call, 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately and consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestory, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. Are we done now?